Well, this time around, we're going to head back to round 17, 1998, and the clash between Carlton and the Western Bulldogs at Optus Oval. The game looked a mismatch on paper, with the Bulldogs sitting proudly on top of the ladder with 12 wins and 4 losses, and coming off a 91-point belting of Brisbane the previous week. 1998 was proving to be a battle for the Blues, however, who were struggling way back in 14th position, but were coming off a morale-boosting win over Adelaide at Football Park. But it was the Blues who managed to get the flying start, kicking 7 goals to 3 to shock the ladder leaders, who trailed by 29 points at the first change. Almost 27,000 fans were stunned at this potential upset. Could the Doggies bite back in the second term? Let's head now to the second quarter action. It's round 17, 1998. Carlton hosting the Bulldogs at Optus Oval.
Sexton and Darcy to do the ruck work. Silvani didn't have it, was grabbed. Free kick, Stephen Silvani. He immediately plays on very casually because he had plenty of time to find Camporelli. That's a good kick by Camporelli to Rice because he put it out in front of him. No chance for the opposition. Here's Beaumont, who's got a couple to beat. Garlick had the pace. Taken away by Cameron. Wine can give it back to Cameron. He's got Croft wide. Croft has got it. He can play on all. No, Carlton have got them covered everywhere. He's looking for a short option. Now he's forced to go long. He's looking for Chris Grant. Oh, that is a brilliant mark. Oh, that is a top quality mark.
Yeah, Koutafis was with him, but he jumped high from the front position. I think Kouta just had to get the body in a bit quicker to have some actually torso pressure rather than just trying to actually spoil with your arms.
Didn't even try and take his arms there, Lee, did he, with his arms? Just sort of ran behind him and sort of stuck his arms out with actually taking Chris Grant's arms, and that's what you need to do. If you're behind and you don't think you can make it, take his arms away.
I guess he was just a little bit. I mean, he's a tall man, Chris Grant, and when you jump from the front position, as you say, you can't reach the ball. It's a matter of whether you can actually knock an arm out of it.
He's not far off 6'4" in the old scale. He's a very tall player, and he's a brilliant mark now. Chris Grant, he is really muscled up. Oh, that is a nice-looking kick. It's a goal. They needed that, and the Bulldog champion has kicked his first. 34 points the margin. I wouldn't write off the Bulldogs just yet. They do have a habit of charging home when you think they're not playing all that well. West. Taken away by Camporelli. Good play by McKay to get it to him, and that's a good lead by Whitnell.
He's got good hands, hasn't he? Yeah, he's a very athletic defender, is Alice, and he got on the lead, Whitnell, so he wasn't going to get a long way clear of Alice, but he was just, his hands were good enough under pressure to take control of the ball.
And Lee, the thing I like about him, as a forward, he is always in front.
Yep.
And tries to get that front posse. There's the kick. He is bending it back. That is a beautiful kick for a goal. Lance Whitnell has kicked his second.
Well, they're starting to answer the challenge a little bit, aren't they, Carlton? I mean, Bulldogs have started to look a little bit better. They've got a couple of goals, but every time they have, immediately, the Carlton team have gone back and scored again.
Great kick by Scott Camporelli, but he's just got a bit of spunk about him, this kick, Lance Whitnell. He's got a fair bit of grunt about him, and when his eyes fixed on the ball, he's got steely hands there and just wants to take the mark, and that's the big thing. The want and the aggression to go out there, put your arms out and take the mark.
Well, back we go to the middle. Wine and Allen. Allen got his hands to it again, taken by Dimartino, who ducked the head and got the free kick. Advantage paid to Ramiro. Grant again. Oh, yes! Great mark. It looked as though he was out of the contest.
Yes, yeah, well, I think Koutafis slipped at the last moment, I think, but nevertheless, that made it more difficult for him. But Grant, that is a pressured mark. Players who can take those one-on-one marks, 50-50s in the forward 50, are absolutely worth their weight in gold.
Well, the greatest example of that would be Wayne Carey. When North need a player to win the game for them, they kick it to him one-on-one, and he wins it for them time and time again. So can this guy. Chris Grant kicking for his second. It looks good. He's goal. You can see the height advantage there in that two-shot of Grant over Koutafis. Not playing a free kick there. They go forward again through Ramiro. They're almost high. Taken away by Johnson. Johnson for goal. And maybe the Bulldogs are coming home back at Carlton.
Well, they do float forward. I think the critical part of that is they got the centre bounce clearance. They got the last couple of centre bounce clearances. Earlier in the game, Carlton was dominating that area. And if they can get the ball running through half forward, Couchy, they have plenty of guys flowing through with the ball. Look at Johnson. He's the one who gets it in the end.
I reckon Matthew Allen's dropped away this last 5 or 10 minutes. His influence has dropped away, and this is where the Bulldogs have got back involved in the game again.
Well, we mentioned earlier that the Bulldogs can look down and out and they will fight, and they're starting now. Wine and Allen. Wine grabs it, gives it to Johnson, so they've got it out again. Over the back is Montgomery. Silvani races and swoops onto it, heads it out wide towards the boundary line. Steve Collinwood and Glenn Manton. Manton, handballs. How will the umpire see that? He's calling play on, and eventually the ball rolls over the line.
It's interesting. Silvani is now picking up Grant. I just wonder now, Koutafidis is on Croft, so it's just they've changed their defensive matchups.
Well, Koutafidis struggles body on body. He doesn't know how to use his body. He's a very big bloke, but he struggles with body on body pressure, and I think it's a good change there to take him out of full back, because I feel he'd be better off out at centre half back.
Yeah.
Murphy has taken a very good mark there. Ratton, Bradley. They look good when Bradley runs forward like that, the little chip kick in towards half-forward. He's looking for Andrew McKay. He works very hard, McKay, still going. Gets in a hand pass to Ratton. Ratton drives it in towards full forward. Whitnall! Oh, he's a good player. He's kicked another one.
Well, they got it, didn't they? We were saying, who could get the next goal? Can the Bulldogs just start stringing 2 or 3 together? But Carlton have answered in, and third goal to Whitnall all in this second quarter. So now that Koutafidis, you know, is actually off ground, I wonder now's the time to put him back to a wing. I mean, maybe just after a few games back in defence, they've got Glenn Manton back there, who's basically gone out now to play on a wing. Whether Manton back on Croft and Koutafidis on a wing, just may be the time
just to
think
bring him
about
on.
doing that.
But he's got the confidence up now, though.
5 goals, 4 is the lead. The Bulldogs get it out through Johnson. Collinwood at the back, Rice at the front. They're pretty desperate, the Blues. Rice receives from Manton. Here's White. Adam White. Oh! He was desperate then, Montgomery, but he gave away a free kick to Bradley. And some hoots of the Carlton supporters, or it might have been Bulldog supporters. Oh, reported for that. You must be joking.
Well, I must say, players these days half the time must think that they really, if they're going to be there half a step late, they just don't try and spoil the mark, because players are getting reported constantly. Well, gee, if that wasn't a genuine attempt to spoil the mark, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Well, I'm with you, Lee.
And a 50-metre penalty.
Well, this could cost them a goal. That is totally unfair.
Well, OK, let's see what may have happened. If it's a free kick because of the incident, OK. But unless we don't know, there may have been for
mouthing off or something.
Might have said something.
If the 50-metre penalty is for abusive language or mouthing off, OK, we can't argue with that. But certainly a free kick, a report, and a 50-metre penalty was a reasonable impediment.
Well, to me, just looking at that incident, it looked like a genuine attempt by Montgomery to spoil.
You've got to launch yourself and make an attempt. What if the coach said, oh, look, he didn't actually make
a line ball decision, I thought. A line ball that he got there about the same time as the ball, I reckon.
So Craig Bradley will kick from directly in front. A big decision in the context of this game. And he has gone. Bradley's kicked his first, and the Blues have the answers at the moment. We're not sure what the 50 was for, and is that Montgomery arguing with, that's Montgomery arguing with the umpire, wanting to know what it was for in the first place, I would ask.
I wonder. He certainly doesn't miss too many, Craig Bradley. I reckon you're going to give it the ball to a player 30 metres out.
You want him to get it.
Yeah, Craig Bradley's as good as any, I reckon.
Scott West on screen with Craig Bradley. What a champion player he's been for the Blues over many, many years. The vital centre bounce again. Murphy trying to come through the middle. Wine to Johnson to Ramiro. He kicks it to the square. The bounce important. It bounces through for a goal. Great goal, Jose. An enormous player for the Bulldogs. Being cleared by North Melbourne. Porter did well then. to tap at the Ratton. McKay underneath it, gets a cruel bounce. Wirra. Oh, look, the Carlton players came from everywhere. Rowan Smith's been very quiet. There's Cameron. Look at the Carlton players swooping. Camporelli, the bounce.
Oh, the bounce. He just didn't quite balance. But wouldn't that have been a morale-boosting goal to dispossess the Bulldogs on the half-back line? Because really they had control, but the Carlton pressure forced them into error.
Terry Wallace, worried-looking Terry Wallace, looking on Phil Malin, a former Carlton and Bulldog player at the back. There's Wine, no mark, taken by West. West is bringing it back towards the... oh, look, they stood and looked at it, the Bulldogs players. Camporelli to Murphy. Beautiful kick. Andrew McKay can kick a goal. So it might be a little bit too far out because he's looking for the short one.
Well, he's going to be kicking from 45 metres. I think he'll kick the distance, but it's a nasty pocket, that one. He's actually going to centre it.
He didn't look as though he was going to go for it. Oh, the Flyers are there. White latches onto it. Smothered, a magnificent smother. West, it might have been tripped, he was. And Scott West will take this kick at half-back.
Accidental trip by hand, of course. If it's an accidental trip by leg, it's a 40-metre penalty, 50-metre penalty, isn't it? And a deliberate trip is a report just to actually...
just reporting for that.
That's right.
Kudafides at the back. Half mark. He's got support from Porter, who ducked ahead. Camporelli, oh, he did that very well. Beautiful play and a nice kick. McKay, Camporelli, good running play. In towards half-foot. Alice just couldn't quite hang on to it. Adam White. Beaumont is there. Alice, oh, Beaumont, terrific play. On to Pearce. In towards half-forward or forward pocket area, and Glenn Manton is down in that forward pocket and has taken them up.
They're all coming back to Pearce, and Beaumont. Pearce may have hurt himself, unfortunately. But how was the Beaumont contest then? He just went at the ball like he's the only one on the ground who wanted it.
I hope that is not a knee injury.
Unfortunately, they're calling for a stretcher.
Well, they came across his knee area. Let's just hope it's not, because he has had a knee operation.
Yeah,
and they're calling for the stretcher. So that might be rotten luck for Brad Pearce and a tragedy for himself and the Blues if that is a serious injury.
But interesting to see Carlton in their forward line, just wanting to keep the ball alive, not holding underneath and just keep it alive, and they've done a great job there. And
I mean, the ball went to a nest of about 4 Bulldogs players, and Beaumont just charged through the whole bunch of them and actually set up the flow of knock-on to Pearce. But certainly his left knee got caught as he was kicking the ball, unfortunately, and I guess we just got to hope it's on the minor side of what can eventuate from those situations.
He's got enough tape on there to keep it in stable condition anyway, Pete, hasn't he?
Yeah, well,
sponsored by Elastoplast.
Yeah, well, he's obviously had problems with that knee before, as we remember, had knee reconstruction eventually.
He went down holding.
I'm not sure early in the year whether it was a knee problem. We see this quite often, don't we, where there is a hold-up in play where the two teams will assemble in their groups. There's only one pair not in it, and that's Michael Sexton and Luke Darcy, who are down, and they're going to come up too. I think they've just decided that... yeah, it seems a little pointless, I must say, but the two players up the other end of the field are jogging up, being good team players.
And Brad Pearce going straight off the ground. And have a look at him up in the medical rooms.
And Fraser Brown has come back on to replace him.
Just with Scott Wine's dominance in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Carlton have made a change there and have put Porter on him and give Matthew Allen a bit of a rest, which is good play before half-time. They'd come out at three-quarter time and really bounce into Scott Wine again like he did in that first quarter. It was absolutely sensational, and that's where it all started from, that centre clearance, and Brett Ratton has absolutely been sensational in and under.
Well, Glenn Manton, in the meantime, has got the ball, as we saw that disturbing sight of Brad Pearce going off on a stretcher. Manton marking deep in that forward pocket area against Paul DiMartino.
He's a great mark for his size, isn't he, Glenn Manton? He's very straight arms, great technique.
He played a fair bit of his football at full back at Essendon. So he's kicking for his second goal, believe it or not. Glenn Manton, a big kick coming up here, a pretty tight angle, but only about 25 metres out. He's hooked it. No, he's happy, it's in. So Glenn Manton's kicked his second. And the Blues just seem to have all the answers at the moment.
Well, they've gone again. They're a 6-goal lead again, 30. What are we talking now? 41 points now, I think, isn't it? 6 goals, 5 behind. So that's a very decent margin as we approach the half-time break.
Do you think they're out of it now, Lee, Western Bulldogs?
I don't think so, because they're such a high-scoring team. This is a big margin they've got to overtake, but they can score goals quickly. But they've got to stop Carlton scoring, and they're failing to do that.
Porter beaten to it by Wine. Brad Johnson, a quick kick. Oh, well done by Darcy. Gee, he controlled that well. Franchina tried to crash his way through the pack. Here's West. Went without a free kick to Carlton here at half-back. And the Carlton player getting up is Anthony Franchina, who, as Lee said earlier, was a pretty tough nut there.
Yes, I don't think he's the type of player you'd look forward to playing on, to be honest. I think he makes you earn every kick.
Well, no one on his mark there. It's a wobbly kick. McKay went in after it. There's Sexton enjoying his roll up on the wing. It's a wobbly kick to half-forward. Good mark to Brett Montgomery. He's getting the hoots of the Carlton supporters. He's got a choice of 2 out there. One is Darcy. Luke Darcy. That's a good kick. Rowan Smith unable to get into the game so far.
And his second kick, Pete.
Now that's a good kick also. He's looking for Grant. Grant Silvani, 2 champions together. Chris Grant bending it back. He was under pressure. Johnson is there with Camporelli, and it's forced over the line.
It was a very quick call, wasn't it, to replace Koutafis with Silvani. I mean, he took 2 marks, didn't he, Grant? Just outbodied. Well, one he led to it, one he outbodied, I guess. But it was I must say, certainly there was not a great deal of perseverance shown with Koutafis. Silvani got the call pretty quick.
Oh, good play by Grant. He can kick a goal here, Chris Grant. That is a brilliant bit of play. As he kicked it? No. Well, it deserved a goal.
He's such a big bloke. He's very, very quick and off the ground. He just picks the ball up beautifully, dodge and weave and balance up beautifully. He's such a well-balanced player, Chris Grant.
He did miss the, but a very balanced left-foot kick too, wasn't it? I mean, if you didn't know he didn't kick left foot, or he kicked that he kicked right foot, you might think left foot was his dominant side.
Camporelli is looking for Porter, almost a mark to Ellis, taken by Hamill. Fraser Brown on to Murphy. This is Beaumont. And he's a bit of a goer.
He's been lively up there, hasn't he? He's only had 4 touches for the game, but his speed, I think, just off the mark, the acceleration, that when he hits the ball, he is hitting it at a pretty high speed.
Come on last week against Adelaide, Lee, and kicked 2 great goals and got Carlton back in the game.
I saw a shot of Terry Wallace looking fairly composed, which he is. I mean, they have their ups and downs, but they're a very good side, the Bulldogs. Bradley looking for Dean Rice. Doesn't quite sit for him. Here's Beaumont. He was looking back here for Rice. Wonderful skills shown there by Leon Cameron. He found Montgomery. Now Wirra. Back to Cameron. They've got no one to give it to here because Manton has closed the gap. That's a good kick. That was clever.
He's working his way into the game. Brad Johnson at the moment. He's one a very dangerous player.
Johnson looking for Grant. Is that a free kick? Oh, it's against
Jumped too early, jumped too early, so the free kick was played for Carlton.
It wasn't a genuine attempt, was it, Lee?
Would have been if he had 10-foot arms.
Camporelli to Silvani. Grant, I don't think he liked it.
He's only got 3-foot arms, so it wasn't genuine.
Go, Gadget.
Mark. A simple one dropped there by Sexton. Camporelli on to Beaumont. Beaumont, that's a nice-looking kick. Whitnell at the back. The loose ball. Still got it, Whitnell. Good play. Look at that. Fantastic football. He brings it back in front of guy. Was that a mark? Or was it a half volley? He's paid the mark.
Well, he's paid the mark, and that's all that counts. The Bulldogs players aren't so sure. But Whitnell just again the ability to weave his way through a couple of Bulldogs defenders. I would think Terry Wallace would be most concerned about the tackling pressure of his team today. They are allowing that Carlton player to get clear too often.
It's a great play to think on his feet too, Lee. Especially for a young bloke to show great experience and poise, and quick kick to Hamill.
Well, Hamill is a good build of a bloke. Hamill, terrific size for an AFL footballer. He's kicking from directly in front, 25 metres out, right through the middle. That's his second. Wind and Porter, a poor bounce. Wind takes it out of the ruck contest. The Blues come away again through Camporelli. It was given to him by Ratton. It's a wobbly kick in towards full forward. Oh, great mark by Hamill.
He's a jumping boot, isn't he, Hamill?
Across the front of the pack, and that's a good mark.
Yeah, he can jump and leap at the ball. He's got a little bit of power about him, hasn't he? It was a big high jump. He didn't really control the ball all that well. Just a couple of grabs down to the ground, left it behind, but definitely a mark.
Shows a fair bit of go, doesn't he? Like he launched himself at it. Come from the side.
Well, he looks the sort of player, Paul, that might go that next step and become a really top player for the Blues.
Well, that's who they need to step up, don't they?
Yep. Yeah, I think he's got a lot of the physical attributes to become a very good player.
And a great camera shot behind Aaron Hamill as he kicks for his third and dobs it through. Well, I thought the Bulldogs were starting to get back into it and come back at Carlton, but this is very impressive by the Blues.
Well, 16 goals in a half of football. I mean, that's just magnificent kicking or ability to score and convert. The Bulldogs' defence, I guess, isn't its absolute strength. It's, I think, currently the 5th best defence statistically, but certainly today, Carlton have won the midfield and then cut them up in the forward line.
Ratton again, sensation to peel the handball off to Scott Camporelli, and his disposal today, Camporelli's been a great sight to watch. Beautiful disposal.
Porter and Wine. Fraser Brown, gee, they're doing well midfield, the Blues. Onto Anthony Koutafidis, who brings it down that centre corridor. Hamill again, he was underneath it this time. West receives from Crediuk onto Dent. Centre wing is Hudson, who's been fairly quiet. Paul Hudson. Oh, he's kicked it straight here to Koutafidis, who certainly looks good when he runs with that ball. Back to Koutafidis from Manton. Look at this. And some good shot. Well, not quite reaching the mark down there, but to Camporelli. Beaumont. Crediuk. West. Enormous pressure being put on by those Carlton forwards. That's Martin. Collinwood. Steve Collinwood. Good kick to Croft. Oh, they nearly lost it then. Collinwood. Oh, still fumbling. Oh, Scotty White tried to finesse there when he should have given it off. Franchina. Sexton, the Bulldogs player, is down here. Is that on the book? Is that a report on Anthony Franchina or not? Yes, it is.
Unfortunately.
Hudson down, Franchina reported.
Well, I guess we've said a couple of times that he tends to be a player who plays with a high degree of just aggression of spirit, Franchina, and it's okay if it's, I guess, a cold, determined, that the hot aggression can sometimes result, of course, in...
Is that a 50 Lee now?
Well, I'm not sure what's happening at the moment. Certainly not. Yeah, it is now a 50, but I think it was the second incident. I don't think it was against Franchina, the 50.
Oh, he's just sort of protecting himself and copped Hudson across the head.
Just sort of.
Oh, well, it's a clear view. Whatever we say makes no difference. The tribunal are going to look at it.
The tribunal decide.
A very clear look.
Paul Hudson will kick from 15 metres directly in front. And to say the Bulldogs need a goal is the understatement of the century.
He's been very quiet today, Paul Hudson.
The Carlton defence has been excellent. Hudson directly in front for his first, and he has kicked it.
Well, it's a high-scoring quarter, no doubt about that. Carlton have kicked 9 goals, and Bulldogs have kicked 6. I mean, you just don't see 15 goals scored in a quarter of football too often.
And we were talking earlier about crowding the defences, and yet we're seeing all these goals being scored.
Well, I think we're getting the midfield areas are getting, as we see a replay of the incident, the midfield's getting crowded, but there's plenty of space as the ball goes forward.
Well, I don't think that incident was as bad as what it actually looked like.
Well, the fend-off, similar incident against Todd Viney last week, and Todd Viney got cleared.
Yeah, very similar, actually. So getting close towards half-time. Oh, Porter went very, very early. Murphy might have been caught a little bit high. Taken by Wirra. A couple of quick ones before half-time would be handy to the Blues. There's Sexton across half-back now, looking for Murphy. He's got him, but the good thing for Carlton, there's often 2 or 3 options. Kick from Murphy towards Hamill. Here's Franchina at the beautiful pick up by Franchina. Just gets it about 10 metres. Bradley, well done. Hamill off the side of the boot and out on the full.
Yes, Paul Hudson's been very quiet. Last week he was very good early, kicking 2 or 3 goals in the first quarter. Montgomery was also, and these players have been very, very quiet today, and Carlton have done a great job to match up on them. Franchina on Paul Hudson hasn't let him let any space, and that you can't give Paul Hudson any space.
You mentioned before the game started that they won so well last week that maybe a game of keepings off wasn't the ideal preparation for a real hard contest.
You know yourself, Lee, you really do need a hard contest, and the prison line very soft.
Sexton getting it back to Murphy. Murphy a high ball in towards full forward. Should have been against Hamill for throwing Dent out of the way. Massey from the boundary line. This young player bending it back. Oh, good play because Manton has marked 20 metres out, almost directly in.
Well, there was Manton and 4 Bulldogs players, and again that's lobbed on Manton's chest. We've seen this quite often. Have a look at this. They're all Bulldogs players, but just the ball just absolutely fell into Mountain's path, and this game might go forever the way they're scoring goals.
Well, Manton did play, even at Essendon, he did play a lot of fullback, but he played a fair few games on the forward line as well and kicked goals. So Glenn Manton kicking for his 3rd, slight angle, and he has kicked it right through. 3 goals to the backman, who has become a forward again.
Well, we mentioned before when Silvani went on to Grand and Koutafis went on to Croft, what would they do with Koutafis and Manton? Well, they kept Koutafis in defence, and Manton's actually gone up to the midfield, and a couple of goals have resulted. So good coaching, I think, good positioning by David Parkin.
It's a shot at the goal, and Manton would be loving that down forward. Half a minute to half time.
In real time, it's gone from 39 minutes this quarter.
Put the lights on.
Wine, another poor bounce, favours Wine, taken by West. Oh, but again, a terrific smother there by Colin. West who tried to get it out there to Croft, taken by Murphy. He seems to have a new lease of life under the young player again in Massey. Oh, I think a little bit of luck there, but it came off because Brown gave it to Bradley as time runs out. He'll just get his kick at goal. Craig Bradley, look at that!
Very much.
Right on half time. Craig Bradley has kicked a ripper, and the Carlton crowd have gone berserk, as have the players.
Wasn't that just absolutely superb skill? He's running right foot to the boundary line where the natural hooking action was going to make it difficult.
So an incredible quarter of football. The Blues slamming on 11 goals to 6 in the longest quarter in VFL-AFL history, just a tick under 40 minutes. The Blues led the premiership favourites by almost 10 goals at half-time and maintained that momentum to eventually run out 80-point victors in one of the bigger upsets of the 1990s. Well, that's it for this edition of Classic Quarters. Thanks again for your company. Join us again next time right here on Fox Footy.